I'm probably going to bring this up later on in the review, but not going to lie, that river scene in this movie with the ice breaking and everything, that was insanely impressive. Not going to lie, that is impressive filmmaking, and especially for 1920. Way Down East. So Way Down East is the fourth movie that was made by D.W. Griffith that is in this challenge. And from what I can tell, out of all four of these movies, yes, this one's definitely the best one out of them all. I even like this one a whole lot better than Intolerance. And it's way better than the other two, for sure. I mean, this is a romantic movie, and it mostly focuses on one story, and it's a whole lot easier to follow. I mean, we've all seen the love at first sight type of movies, and there's a boy meets girl, and eventually it's a romantic movie how they get together. We've seen it like 1,000 times. But the reason why I have a big fondness for this movie because, well, it's a lot easier to follow than a lot of other movies on this list that I have watched. I mean, when it comes to The Birth of a Nation, you know why I hate that movie. And when it comes to Intolerance, there are so many stories packed into one that it's really hard to follow. And with, what was the last movie called? I don't know, you can check it out on my channel, but that one was just slow, it was depressing, and it just took forever, and not gonna lie, I really don't like the names of some of the characters in that movie. In this one, it has none of that stuff. It just focuses on one story, and it's a romantic story. So the movie starts out with a girl named Anna. Anna is living with her mother, they're very poor, so she has to go to her aunt's place so that they can borrow some money to save their lives, and while she is there, her aunt is running this party, she runs into a man named Sanderson. And Sanderson is, well, he's basically a sleazebag. I mean, he's a ladies' man, and he's insanely rich, and he grows an interest in Anna, and eventually they would get married, and immediately I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute, this movie is over 2 hours long, it's only at the 20-minute mark, how fast is this movie going? Well, as it turns out, that wedding was a sham. The only reason he had a secret wedding and put it all together was so that he can sleep with her. Because, like I said, he's not a very good guy. But anyway, he eventually leaves her, but this whole so-called scam left her with a pregnancy, and there came a child, but eventually that child would sadly die. And immediately I'm thinking to myself, this is really, really depressing. Because from this time period, if a woman would have a child, but they have no proof that they were married, they would be considered a prostitute. Someone that is not exactly liked among public places. So I'm just thinking to myself, is the movie gonna be like this the whole time? Because I really feel bad for this girl, but I really don't want to be in a depressed state for like 2 hours straight. But then she eventually ends up in this town looking for work, and she runs into this family where she finally meets David for the first time. David is the son of this main farmer. What was the farmer's name? The Squire? I think his name is the Squire. The thing about D.W. Griffith movies is that not all of the characters have actual names. They're usually called the woman or the Squire or the lieutenant or the teacher. They don't exactly have names. He mostly gives names to the characters that is basically the main characters, the ones that we need to remember. And when Anna finally meets David for the first time, it's basically the oldest movie that I have seen that has that whole love at first sight type of moments. She and he walk into the same camera, see each other, they stop, they stare at each other. You know the drill at this point. But after this point, the movie actually really does pick up. I mean, it has more lightheartedness, it has a lot more comedy into it, and immediately I'm thinking to myself, okay, I completely forgot about the very first half hour of this movie. I mean, if you could power through that half hour of this movie, the rest of the 2 hour film is most definitely worth checking out. And I gotta say this again because I will bring it up several times. That river scene with the breaking ice, when they're on the ice and it's breaking and all such, that was made in 1920, because that is insanely impressive. Because there are a lot of moments where they are literally looking down at the water and you just see it just flowing out there, and it just looks cold and it just looks dangerous, and I still have no idea how they would actually get these moments. And there were actually several moments in this scene where you can kind of tell the camera's not really focused well because it either was not on the right stand or sunk into the snow. So you could definitely tell how difficult it was to put this scene together. But for 1920 to have that advantage, I would say is definitely worth checking out. If you prefer not to really watch the entire movie, I would definitely prefer to check out the river scene of Way Down East because it is really impressive. Now, there are several other problems with this movie, and one of them being is that this film is not really exactly well taken care of, like movies like The Birth of a Nation for some reason, and also Intolerance was definitely more clean than this movie, because a lot of moments things got a little bit too blurry that I could barely tell what is going on, and there are even some scenes where I'm just looking forward and going, it's really hard to see what is going on. And another thing that this movie does have a little bit of a problem with is that there were not enough word crawls in the movie. I mean, granted, when you watch silent pictures, you would know that a little word crawl would come out telling you exactly what this person is saying, and whenever they can't put in enough word crawls, they would have to basically show by facial expressions exactly what they are saying. This one, it really didn't have that much. Like, for example, you could have one person sitting in the room, that's where the scene would start off, and then you see one person walk in, and you see them banter on between each other, and there is no word crawls happening, and I'm just sitting there going, okay, I have no idea what is going on right here. For all I know, this could be a scene that could have been cut out of the movie, because for all I know, they could be saying the lines from Dr. Seuss's Green Eggs and Ham, for all I know. So the movie definitely does have some of its problems, but I like the fact that this movie is a whole lot more simpler than other D.W. Griffith movies for good reasons. And with this one, I gotta say, is the best one out of the 4 movies. I'm kind of worried that I have to watch a couple more of his movies. I mean, if you watch one of the most hated movies of all time, it doesn't matter how good some other movies are, you're still not going to like the guy due to the fact that he made stuff like that. But that's my opinion. But what I got to say is that Way Down East it's pretty good. It's a simple, easy to love, and if you like romantic movies and you can kind of base around the formula of where it's gonna go, this is definitely a movie worth checking out. So I will say this movie is worth watching at least once. So guys, Way Down East, have you seen it? What did you think of it? Whatever you thought, comment them down below. And if you have any opinions, that is okay, because opinions are welcome on my channel. Also, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share my videos as much as possible so I can finally get subscribed enough so I can challenge other reviewers to do the exact same challenge. And I'll see you in the next video.